woke up a demon. I'm pissed off.
And we are live. Welcome to the Redbird Redzone podcast. My name is Will. You can find me on Twitter at LiveOnThatSwing. Joining me today, I've got my two lovely co-hosts and two magnificent guests. Why don't you two, you four, introduce yourselves?
Yo, what up? This is Mac. You can find me on Twitter at AZSportsFien. That's FIEN.
And my name is Jackie. You can find me on Twitter at JSanDiego. And we are joined by our friends from the Head Couch Analysts podcast.
What's up? It's Andrew. You can follow me on Twitter at HC_Pardue.
Woo!
And I am the host of that show, Sanders. You can find me at HC_Sanders. We just like to go by our names. By the way, I still forgot that it's San Diego and not Sandy Goo.
Sandy Goo.
Sandy Goo. That sounds disgusting.
Yeah, I don't want to think about that. But we're here to discuss a game of Arizona Cardinals football, because that was certainly a game. So first things first, I don't think this game lived up to any of our expectations. I think all of us said in our predictions last week that this game would go over for the the 49-point over-under. And I mean, this was...
Yeah, sorry, Mr. Arizona, for asking that question.
Yeah,
Hope you didn't lose a lot of money.
Yeah, never put your hopes and dreams on in my hands. But 17-10 was the final score. I mean, this was this game belonged to our defense. What did you guys think? Was this more so a bad performance by our offense in their offense, or a great performance by our defenses, I guess, is what I'm trying to ask.
I mean, at the end of the day, I'm just happy we're 5-0 right now. And hopefully we're licking our wounds a little bit, getting healthy. Hopefully we'll get some good news on Rodney Hudson coming up. And I know it seems like Max Williams is going to be lost for the year. But hopefully Byron Murphy can come back next week versus the Browns. Same with Marco Wilson. But, I mean, I was really impressed with our secondary in general, considering, I mean, I know we were going up against a rookie making his first career start. But to hold him to 15 for 29 for under 200 yards, I mean, this secondary is playing their ass off, especially considering we thought it could have been, the weak spot of this team just a few weeks ago heading into the season. And, they're shutting us all up with all of our doubts.
Yeah, it wasn't the ass kicking like I had anticipated, but sometimes it's going to be like that. Defense is going to come in, win us a game. That's Cardinals football, and I think if this was maybe 2020, 2019 Cardinals, they probably would have lost that game. But it's hard to complain when you're 5-0. But let's open it up for our guests here. What do you guys think?
So for me, when it came to the offensive performance, I think one thing, and I don't want to blame the officials. I hate constantly calling out officials and trying to assess blame to them just them. But when I was watching this game, it was one of the most frustrating Cardinal games I've ever watched, simply because it's not that the refs were just missing calls and making poor calls. It was making official timeouts after team timeouts because they didn't know what was going on. It was picking up flags and having zero explanation as to why they were picked up, and so on and so forth. I felt like the officials in this game constantly were taking the wind out of the sails for not only the Cardinals but the 49ers as well. I felt like the officials are really slowing it down, and that contributed to the offensive lull that the Cardinals had. And in addition to that, I'm not quite sure how much Max Williams was a part of the game plan this week, but it was obvious that after he went out, not only it seemed like team morale went down, and what I think what really got to me, because I'll admit it, I had tears in my eyes when I saw Max get hurt, because he's one of my favorite Cardinals, not even gonna lie. But it was incredible seeing, because you knew immediately he was seriously hurt. And then the entire Cardinals sideline comes all the way to the other side of the field, every single player, patting him on the head. It was a big deal that he was gone. So
Yeah,
I think, and
he's well respected in that locker room for
oh,
sure.
for sure.
Yeah.
And then in addition to Rodney Hudson getting hurt, I think people underestimate how much of this offense really truly runs through him. And the amount of checks he makes. And Max Garcia filled in his spot well in terms of performance, but he's not making the same checks and adjustments and helping Kyler out as much as Rodney Hudson was. So I think that contributed to the offensive law. But in addition to that, I think it's unfair to expect 30-point games and 400 yards every single week. There's going to be bad games, and it's not like the 49ers have a bad defense, and their defensive line is getting after it and beating our offensive line pretty good. With that being said, defense was incredible. So I think a true sign of a championship team is being able to win games in all different ways. And bottom line, I think that's what the Cardinals have done through the first 5 games of the season. So it's been promising.
Amen.
Yeah, I mean that. It wasn't all just going to be 35-point games the whole way through. I mean, the biggest issue the Cardinals had was winning these these bouts,
Close trap games.
close trap games, these low scoring affairs, and it's like there have been plenty of times where the Cardinals have been on the wrong end of that. So I think the fact that we came out and won this game when it was so ugly, I think is a very good thing. Max Williams being gone, I mean, Ian Rappaport says he might be out for the year. That will be a devastating blow to this team that I think that not much could really mend. Trey Lance looked looked entirely lost out there when he played our defense. I bet he wishes he was back at North Dakota State after playing that game. Kyler Murray played a damn good game. Like watching the highlights itself, it would appear like he had a bad game or he played bad under pressure. He played really well under pressure. It's just that Niners D line is just stellar. Sorry, I went on like 4 different tangents there.
Yeah, we went from quarterback to D line to Trey Lance. No, so like when it comes to like this game in general, coming from more or less an outsider's perspective, as someone who lives in Arizona, I end up watching every Arizona game anyway. I think the only year where I didn't watch every game was the Josh Rosen year because by week 10 I was just sick of watching bad football.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
As someone like you guys, we're amateur analysts here. I just really appreciate good football, right? So even if there's like an organization I don't like i.e. the Cowboys, not a big fan of, when they put on a good product, I'm down to watch them play, and they're putting on a good product this year, right? And I always watched Arizona games because, well, I was a poor college student. That's what was available. And they're putting on a really good football product this year. I think this was the first game this week that I didn't watch all of. Not saying I didn't watch like all 4 quarters, right? But I was constantly flipping back to the Chargers-Browns game because that was exciting. 42-47 score compared to this, for a long time, 10-7 beating with, the injuries that happened to Rodney Hudson, Max Williams, and just like a lot of downers that were happening that I was like, man, I don't want to watch this as a quote unquote casual viewer. Like I want to watch good football, right? But some things that I would like to say about the game that I noticed while I was watching them. First things first, as someone who is part of the team that drafted Max Williams into the NFL, that personally really hurt me to see him go down as well. I loved him when he was in Baltimore. I'm glad he went to, I guess, my hometown's team, right? So I still get to watch him play. I think Max Williams is I won't want to say like a great tight end per se, but he's a fantastic blocker, and he's always been able to catch the ball, right? And he's becoming a core part of this offense, and I really think he could have blossomed into a career year this year and really shown his potential if he hadn't got hurt. So I think this year with 16 receptions, he already had, I think, the second most of his career. And
besides his rookie year, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. Besides the 1 year he was, not 1 year he was with Baltimore. Besides his rookie year in Baltimore, so
and then he got hurt that second. As a non-Ravens fan, he got hurt that second year and had to miss the whole season. Is that correct?
Yep.
So it took him a while to get back, to being the promising young tight end that he looked to be. Yeah, it looked like he was hitting on all cylinders to start this year, and he is. I know you talked about it both, but he is a stellar blocker, and that's the biggest thing I think we're going to miss the most because we have we have good targets all throughout the field, but to be able to set those edges and give Kyler time, that's what we need. Hopefully, Steve Keim can, find somebody through the trade market or elsewhere that can come in and at least not be a negative out there.
So here's what I wanted to say. First of all, save my boy Hayden Hurst from the Falcons. Please go get him. Second thing, I wanted to bring up the Max Williams injury. Not I don't know like how you guys usually run the show, looking into the future, but like looking at the Cardinals as a whole, the run game is really good. For whatever reason, people just want to just associate Kyler Murray and Cliff King. Well, not even just the air raid part. It's just they want to associate them with what we knew them for, right? Cliff Kingsbury was stereotypically, the high points, no defense guy, and that's what Kyler Murray played at for university was Oklahoma. Oklahoma's always been the high points, no defense university, right? And once you have a stereotype about yourself or an image about yourself, it's really hard for you to drop. Right, I watched the same thing happen with Baltimore. Like everybody calls our defense great, and our defense is like I think 28th in yardage allowed this year. We're not very good defensively, but people keep talking about our defense, right? When it turns out it's Lamar Jackson as a thrower saving us, but he also has a stereotype against that, right? So the stereotype for Cliff and Kyler Murray here is the air raid, but I like to steal something from Pardue that he called last year. He called it the run raid last year, and that I think this year it's more of a balanced raid. You guys have a great run game, a great passing game, but that run game I think is really going to be hindered by Max Williams, as you said, Mr. Mack over there, setting the edge. I think that's going to affect you guys way more than you think, and I think this was probably the worst week to lose him because you play one of the meanest defensive lines in football coming into this week. So it's going to be a real test of depth coming into the Cleveland weekend for the Cardinals, especially because you're traveling to Cleveland.
And I agree with Pardue. I believe like last year and the year before, I think you could, aptly name it the run raid.
I think I called it the run raid one episode.
Yeah, because what Kyler did with his legs. But I mean, this season, he hasn't even cracked the 40-yard marker yet. So, I mean, I would like to call it the pro raid because you're going to get a little bit of both. And it's crazy to me that we've only ran the ball 14 times less than we've thrown it this year. But I know we've been up in games, so that helps too. You're going to eat clock at the end of the games. But to be what everyone thinks the Cardinals to be, I know we just came off a Browns podcast, and they were calling it the air raid. And I was just like, James Conner has more touchdowns than anyone in the NFL besides Derrick Henry right now, and just kind of dropping something like, damn, really? They didn't know that. So, but I think the pro raid, it's kind of evolved from maybe, everyone expected the air raid to the run, and now you get a little bit of both. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but James Conner and Chase Edmonds are a pretty solid duo, and I know San Fran did a good job taking them away, holding them to like under 3 yards of carry. But that duo right there, it's you got that power with Connor, then you have the flexibility with Chase, and Chase comes in to week 6 tied with DeAndre Hopkins for the most catches on the team. So it's definitely an offense that it's going to keep defensive coordinators up late at night that week when they play them.
Yeah, I mean this team has just so many options that they can use to beat you that it's like you can't really focus on one outright and expect to get away clean. I mean, it feels like this year it's like every game there's been a new standout or a player that has their game. I mean, this week, frankly, it was despite him only having 6 receptions, it was probably the DeAndre Hopkins show. A couple weeks ago, it was the AJ Green show. Rondale Moore had a game or two where he was really solid. I mean, there is no way you can win against this team if you just come in with a mindset of, oh, we're just going to double team D-Hop and, leave our other guys to cover these guys. That's not
there's a lot to account for.
Yeah.
Before we go on real quick, what are you guys drinking over there, Pardue? What you got?
Well, right now I already took down all the way my Makers and Coke, and now I'm about halfway through Miller Lite. I might have to go grab another one midway through this thing.
Ooh, do it, baby, do it.
I hate you guys.
Sorry, Jackie. How's
I got my Gatorade.
Maybe just don't be pregnant.
Ooh.
Yeah, maybe just
working on it. But the kid's a little undercooked right now. Yeah.
Still baking in the oven, eh?
You drinking anything, Sanders, or what?
I ended up grabbing something real quickly. I got a Canadian Reserve salted caramel whiskey. It is delicious.
Woo!
I've only got a whiskey shot of it, so it's not much, but it's a sipper. I like my stuff on the rocks, so put a couple ice cubes in it, filled it to the top. Yummy.
Nice. Well, we appreciate you guys jumping on with us. How's your guys' season going with your podcast? You guys canceled this week, or you guys moving it back a day? We appreciate you guys jumping off and making some room for joining us. I know you guys usually record Tuesday nights like we're doing right now.
So we're just moving it back a day. We'll
Okay.
be having an episode tomorrow. We'll be having probably an Arizona guest on there as well. So we'll be
Cool.
probably be talking a lot. Not that we don't talk about a lot of Cardinals on the show. Thanks, Pardue. But we'll probably be having an Arizona guest on there. So we'll
Cool.
have our fill of Cardinals content on there like normal.
We'll have to tune in.
Well, thanks for that one.
So let's talk about a real big mitigating factor as for our victory. Kyle Shanahan's decision making, specifically on fourth downs, was abysmal in this game. I have it in my notes. You'd swear that the Niners had an injured kicker the way they keep going for it. 2 missed chances for points in field goal range. I mean, they went 1 for 5. Yeah. I mean, they had one near the goal line, and they had one at like the 30 in like the first quarter that they went for like no reason.
Well, they were missing Robbie Gould, so they were down a kicker. But
true, but they still had Joey Sly, who is not great, but he's not terrible either.
I mean, I just love how like the Cardinals defense, we're giving up 5.5 yards per carry or whatnot. But here comes fourth down, or here comes us in the red zone backed up against our end zone, and we come out fucking flying. We're trying to lay motherfuckers out. And I think Trey Lance learned real quick that he's going to have to get down in this league. He's going to have to either slide or get out of bounds, because that guy took a whooping, and it looks like he's going to be missing when they come out of the bye week next week. It looks like he's going to be missing that game against Indy. So that's kind of like the biggest thing that stood out. And
should have gone for the helicopter kick like Elway.
Right. But I think with Shanahan, he's facing an offense with Kyler Murray, and the Cardinals have put up 30 points each game. So I almost envision, like, if Cliff was in that situation, I think he'd be going for it as often as probably Shanahan did. I don't always agree with I thought the play calling was a little suspect from the Niners on those fourth downs, but I think at the end of the day, the Cardinals stepped up and done what they pretty much done all season, and have risen to the occasion.
Yeah, that direct snap to the fullback would have worked if they hadn't waited 4 seconds to snap it to the fullback. It was just such a baffle, because it's like, it sounds like a perfect idea if you just get him in fast. But no, he just takes like 3 or 4 seconds once he gets to the line to snap to the ball. It's like, what's happening at that point. There's no mystery anymore. You've kind of just told us what you're doing. It's just baffling play calling by Shanahan. It's like,
I think the thing that was most impressive with all these fourth down stops is it's not like they were fourth and longs. I believe the longest fourth down was 4th and 5, and that was the one they converted, and it was on that pass to Mohamed Sanu, and he bounced back after a drop earlier in the game. But these were like 4th and 1, 4th and 2, 4th and 3. We were getting stops on them, and for a team that's been struggling to stop the run, and I think part of that, I think the defensive line is doing their job. I think there's times where they're getting out of their rush lanes and leaving wide open gaps up the middle, and that's where they're getting gashed. But my thing with that is when they are getting beat up the middle, is the guys at the second level, whether it be Simmons or Hicks, they're not there to do their job. They're either taking the wrong gap or going to the wrong rush lane. I'm honestly blaming the poor run defense on the second level more than anybody else, because the D-line, for the most part, is doing their job, in my opinion. But with that being said, the fact that the Cardinals were getting those stops on 4th and shorts was huge.
And to your point, we do have a lot of young guys getting playing time up front on the D-line, like Fotu, and you have Rashard Lawrence. Those are 2 second-year players, 4th, 5th round picks. Like, you really shouldn't expect them to be playing second year, and I think they've held their own. But to your point, I think the biggest weakness in Isaiah Simmons so far is I feel like he's almost too impatient when the run game comes. He's almost ready to, hit the motherfucker 2 yards in the backfield instead of letting it develop and letting them come to you. I just feel like sometimes him and Hicks are just kind of in the wrong lanes, and I think that comes with repetition and whatnot. But I mean, as for Isaiah Simmons, you can't really knock much of his game, but you're right. That is one area that we would like to see improved by the end of the year. hopefully by Sunday with who we got, but we'll see.
And the Niners actually exploited that weakness with Hicks. I mean, there was that one fourth down. It might have been a fourth down or like a long third, where Lance is going back to throw, and he sees pressure, starts a run, and Hicks sees that, thinks he's going to run for the first, and jumps out of his route, and then he throws it to I think it was either Samuels or Sanu for the first, and that just blew the whole play up. But yeah, I mean, this defense this week was very much a bend don't break defense. I mean, this is exactly what we've needed to see, the last few weeks, and I really hope that this does hold going forward.
We're going to need that bend don't break again. Cardinals, for all the yardage we've given up between the 20s running the ball, we've only given up 3 rushing touchdowns on the year, and one was to Deebo Samuel. I believe that was fourth quarter he scored that touchdown, that running play. And that's 5th in the league right now. So I think we're going to give up probably our good amount of yardage to the Browns. But if we can hold them out of the end zone from multiple rushing touchdowns, I think it's going to go a long way in showing, hopefully trying to get this win.
Yeah, the big thing going into this next week will be rushing, because that Browns team does not focus on their passing at all. It's just a rush. It is a run-heavy scheme. And, the Niners had 152 pass rushing yards on us. Granted, most of those were from Lance, and we won't have to worry about that with, Baker. But that 1-2 punch of Chubb and Hunt is no joke. So, I mean, Cards need to keep that mentality going in this next week. If I can see something like we saw on Lance happen to Chubb or Hunt this week, that'd be really nice.
So how do you guys think we can pull this off against Cleveland? What do you think the Cardinals need to do?
I think this is a weird perspective. I think that 4:05 start time to make it the game of the week does help the Cardinals. I mean, because essentially that does make it their like a 1:00 game for them with them being Arizona. But the Cards need to come out swinging. The Cards need to get a lead early and make sure they keep on the gas. Stop the rushing offense for the Browns. I mean, it's tall order, but I'm not entirely sure.
I'm looking to try to get a couple turnovers from Baker.
Yeah.
He's only thrown four touchdown passes this year, which is at the bottom of the barrel for any quarterback who started all 5 games so far. And that's one of their best offensive weapons besides running the ball is tight ends. And as we talked about last week, Isaiah Simmons has been large reason why we've, for the most part, shut down tight ends, and we're amongst the league leaders in catches given up and receiving yards to tight ends. So hopefully that keeps going. And I mean, if you make the Browns one-dimensional and we keep that bend don't break philosophy, I think we're going to be, because I do think we're going to be able to put points on the board, even if Rodney Hudson isn't there. I do think that we're going to be able to expose, because they're hurt just as much as we are, especially in that secondary. So I think we'll be able to take advantage of it. I would look for another big game for DeAndre Hopkins again for the second week in a row.
Yeah, for me, I think both of these teams are really banged up. Both teams are suffering from injuries in their secondary, and I'm pretty sure both of the tackles for the Browns are banged up as well. So it's going to be kind of hard to predict what these teams are going to look like coming Sunday. But I think because what the Cardinals have done, versus the really elite teams that they've beaten, I mean, maybe not elite being the Titans isn't exactly the word I should use for them, but at least for offensively, the Titans and the Rams, what they were able to do is they were able to get out to big leads, multi-possession leads, and take away their rushing attack. So if the Cardinals are able to do that with this offense, I like Kyler versus Baker in a gunslinger shootout type of a game. And while I believe this Browns defense is better than the 47 points they gave up, you still gave up 47 points. Right. The Cardinals can get after this defense, and the only real parts of this defense that I am afraid of is Jadeveon Clowney and Myles Garrett. It's not that their secondary is bad, but like I said, it's banged up, and with the injuries they suffered, they were actually on field suffering and taking steps back from the injuries. We were missing our 2 starting corners and didn't lose a step. Granted, it was against a rookie in his first career start, but still. So with that being said, I think as long as the Cardinals can potentially get up by multiple possessions or stay in the lead, take away because no matter what, the Browns aren't going to abandon their rushing attack. It's the strongest part of their offense. They're going to be running the football. But if you can make them run the ball less and make Baker have to throw and win this game for the Browns, I feel like that's going to be good for the Cardinals in the long run. And I feel like this defense is a lot better than the Chargers defense. No offense to them. So I feel good about this week, but I think it's really going to bank on, is Rodney Hudson back? Are our two starting corners back? If we get at least those three guys, I think it's a really good shot the Cardinals are coming away 6-0.
As a fan of the team I'm in, I don't want to hear about injuries from anybody in the NFL, but that's just how I personally feel. No, so I have not made a decision on who I feel is going to win this game yet. So if I may provide a perspective, can I provide a perspective where I think the Cardinals win and the Cardinals lose? Is that okay?
Cool.
Absolutely not, but sure.
I mean, if it's not, I won't do it. I don't want to.
No, I like your perspective as somebody that has to see the Browns twice a year.
All of our 5 Homer viewers are going to appreciate it. So go ahead. Thank you.
So, as Jared stated over here, this is a run-focused team that you're playing against. I would like to say, I think you threw a little shade at Baker over there, and I think he's much better than what he has shown this year. I'm not going to give him excuses when it comes to his torn labrum. He had a shoulder thing, because I didn't give Kyler Murray excuses last year, right? There was a couple decisions that Kyler Murray made last year despite his shoulder injury where I'm like, that's not a shoulder thing. That was a decision-making problem. And the biggest one that I've highlighted, I think 5 times to Pardue, and he's probably annoyed that I do it on shows now, was the Week 16 interception against, I believe it was the Rams. It was 49ers. You guys were playing 49ers Week 16. Kyler Murray was leading a drive down, and then I think he was at the 28-yard line. He threw a shot down to the middle of the field to the end zone, and it was an interception. It's actually the same interception that he's thrown 3 times this year, the straight middle field shot near the end zone. I think you guys all know what I'm talking about. So, yeah, and that's, to me, that's not a shoulder thing. That's just you made the wrong decision kind of deal. And Baker deserves criticism for that. I think he's made some wrong decisions, which is why his passing hasn't looked so good at times. Yeah, he has the torn labrum, and I'm sure a lot of Browns fans are going to use that as an excuse, just like a lot of Cardinals fans have used the shoulder excuse for Kyler Murray. And I'm not saying that's not valid for either fan base. I think it's a perfectly valid one. But as someone who likes to look at things from a more mental side of the game, I guess that's just the coach in me when it comes to sports. There's decisions you can make around an injury, and they're just not being made by. They weren't made by Kyler Murray last year, and they're not being made by Baker this year. So I'd like to go to the perspective of where the Browns win the game first, and then I'll end it happy with where the Cardinals win. So we'll start bad, end good. Unfortunately for you guys, and this is something I was saying during the Rams-Cardinals game, if anybody follows me on Twitter, the Cardinals are literally one of the worst run defenses in the NFL. In fact, they are the second worst defense when it comes to yards per run. They allow 5.4 yards per run. They're second worst, and they are only ahead of the Chargers, who allow 5.6.
When it comes faced the Browns too, so that's kind of skewed.
Yeah,
and that's also after we held Derrick Henry to 3.0 yards per carry in Week 1. So yeah, it's been kind of a shit show last couple of weeks for sure.
Yeah, and so that's not going well for you, right? And second thing is, if you want to look at total yardage, you guys are the 5th worst, right? Which is still not much better. So I think your defensive weaknesses play into the strengths of the Browns. And of course, me just wanting to see good football, I had no idea why for the life of me McVay didn't call more run plays. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm a big Kyler Murray fanboy, so I was super excited that the Cardinals just beat the ever-living heck out of the Rams. But, the mental side of me was like, why aren't the Rams running the ball more? They've succeeded. Anyway, I'm glad the Cardinals won that game, and I feel
100% agree on that, though. 100% agree. We talked about that last week. Said if we're, Shanahan, you got a rookie quarterback, you're going to pound that shit with Sermon and Eli
and
Mitchell.
They didn't.
And Sermon had, 1 carry? You got to use that guy. He's a stud back there, but thankfully they didn't.
Yeah,
sorry. I mean, Shanahan just got too cute. I mean, he tried to out Cliff, and he got.
Yeah, so I feel like the Browns, especially
Who just giggled right there? It
was Jackie.
No,
it was me.
not me.
Wait, was it not? Oh,
it was Andrew. I'm a Cliff stan, so don't disrespect my fucking
He's
coach.
stiff for Cliff.
Oh my god.
They might be
Back
the 3 Dos Equis, but that's funny.
back to my original point. Kevin Stefanski is a guy who's always been really good at running play action and run games, right? It's what he did with Kirk Cousins, the Vikings, when they were, better in the NFL, like the 10-6 type of team, and that offense was efficient. And as soon as he came to Cleveland, I loved the hire. If you ever listened to our show, I was on top of this hire when it happened, and I really, really thought it was going to help the Browns. I thought they'd go 9-7, which at the time felt impossible, and they went 11-5 last year with this fancy hire. So it was just even better than I thought. That plays really well into the Browns' favor. The other thing that I think plays well into their favor is, like you guys mentioned, your secondary is hurt, and we've already seen that the Browns can score a ton of points literally just from last week, right? And Baker had almost a near perfect game, 306 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Like, he lit it up last week. Last week's game was not his fault at all, right? So that's what I feel like is going to be in the Browns' favor and how they're going to win their game. But on the other hand, that Browns secondary allowed 2 free touchdowns to Mike Williams, 173 yards and 146 yards. Both were just mental breakdowns. Like, when you look at them, it was just the safety having to make a decision, right? And the 73-yard one was the one where I don't remember the safety's name for the Browns. Sorry. He had to make a decision between doubling on Keenan Allen or taking Mike Williams, right? And I think Herbert was leading towards Keenan Allen with his eyes, so I think the safety decided we need to take the double on Allen because this is where the ball's going. And then Herbert just immediately shifted his eyes from Allen, saw Williams wide open because the safety made that decision. Boom, it's over, touchdown, right? And then the same thing happened again, literally 1 quarter later. It was nuts. I was like yelling at my TV, like, what are you doing? You made the same mistake twice to literally the same play. It was crazy. So of course they're going to be watching film on that and learning from that, and that's the exact type of thing. If they don't learn from it, which these are pro players, they probably will, but even so, you guys run a very talented offense with AJ Green, Rondale Moore, DeAndre Hopkins, and you got your 2 running backs, Chase Edmonds and James Conner in the back, right? And even with Kyler Murray's legs, there's just so much for this Browns defense to account for, and I truly believe you can take advantage of that secondary again like Justin Herbert did. It's not like you don't have a quarterback that's just as good as Justin Herbert, if not better, right? Like, both of these quarterbacks are currently, as of the first 5 weeks, in the running for MVP. Kyler Murray is part of the reason you guys are 5-0. You guys can definitely light up the scoreboard against this team if that's what it's against the Browns, if that's what it's going to be. One last thing that I want to say in favor of the Cardinals versus the Browns here. I think secretly, I love Myles Garrett. I love the line. It scares the heck out of me. I'm very scared to play them on Sunday Night Football in 4 weeks. But for you guys, I think you guys run enough offense that really spreads out the field that it's quite possible the defensive line may not get what they want for the Browns. And that's kind of the silver lining for you guys here. Now, with Rodney Hudson potentially missing, who knows if my take on that is good or bad. But I think there's a silver lining there for you to be able to get past the biggest strength of the Browns defense, which is why I think the Cardinals, got a big shot at this. But at the end of the day, I'm still very undecided on who I'm going to pick, and I'm probably going to save who I'm going to pick to win this game until, our show tomorrow on the Head Couch Analysts. But I'm excited for this game. It's definitely game of the week. I can't wait to hear it be announced. Wait, is this going to be a Fox game or a CBS? It should be CBS. Browns are usually
Fox
CBS.
game. It's going to be the Fox game of the week since it's the only game that's on Fox.
Oh, is it on Fox? Okay, interesting. Because usually the home team is the one who has the network, and Browns are usually CBS. That's interesting. All right. So that means you guys will be... Oh, never mind. I was going to say I was going to be excited to hear Tony Romo and Jim Nantz cast it, but that just means you're going to have Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. Never mind.
Ugh.
Oh, no, you're right. Shit.
I know. Damn it!
Damn it.
So
I thought it couldn't get any worse than this week.
Yeah, so those are my cases for both teams, right? And I don't want to be a negative Nanny here, but eventually a team's got to lose at some point, right? I feel like if you're gonna lose a game, it would be traveling to Cleveland, where they would take advantage of your weaknesses on defense, right? So either way, if you go 6-0, man, that's amazing. You beat another good team. You're on your way to 6-0. You can cheer it. But even if you guys lost and went 5-1, I
We
don't
still
think
have the Texans on deck too, so
I don't think you could walk away from a loss against Cleveland and say, yeah, that was a horrible loss. Mostly because the matchup is nicely favored towards the Browns offense, right? Sometimes matchups just matter. That's why upsets happen, right? Sometimes an inferior team just has a better matchup against what is usually a better team. It happens, right?
It happens.
So Jackie, you told me to put this in our notes in the notes this week. So I figured I'm gonna just set it up for you.
Thank you.
I don't know where you're going with this. I have in my notes discuss Lance's parents. What did you want to say?
Oh, it just sucks that mom and dad had to be there to watch their son run for his life, get attacked by the defense, almost have a concussion on the goal line. So
his mom was
shout
not
out-
having a fun time.
No, she looked.
Bro, they
she
kept
looked
showing
like she was in
them.
shambles.
It's dumb.
I don't blame
Why
her
did they
either.
keep showing them
Trying to
at an
kill her
Arizona
son.
game?
They're
Because
trying
it's
to kill her
Trey Lance's
son in front of
debut.
her.
Yeah.
It's
Honestly, though, like I felt like, because like players' parents show up to games all the time. I have never seen so many shots panned to a player's parents ever than I did in this game. It was ridiculous. It was like every other play.
Yeah, I wanted to say some mean stuff about mom. I'm sure she's a nice lady. She looks like she makes a mean tuna casserole. So I'll leave it alone. But thank you for that.
I'm gonna say something that I noticed that I didn't like. I heard way too many people cheering when the Niners were doing good stuff or when the Niners had something go their way. I mean, I'm gonna say this right now, and I hope I can make this, say this, and it's just loud and clear. I don't fuck with anybody in the Valley who's not a Cardinals fan right now. If you're a Cowboys fan, fuck that. Packers fan, fuck that. Steelers fan, fuck that.
I will kindly leave. I'm sorry.
I am giving you the Valley pass. I can't think of a
I don't.
word.
Do you guys think it's really season ticket holders selling tickets, or is it just secondary market ticket holders?
It's definitely a mix of both. But like, and people, like, I get it. This is a transient state, and there's a large amount of fans of every fan base in this state. It seems like every single time I've gone to a Cardinal game, there's a fuck ton of opposing fans inside the stadium. But with that being said, I feel like it's been a very serious problem. I know we've only played 2 home games this year, and we played against one team that really travels well, the 49ers, and their fans, because it seems like they take over stadiums all across the country. But like even the Vikings took over our stadium.
Yeah, I mean, you heard skull chants during that game. JJ Watt came out, all pumped after hearing skull chants and just was ready to wreck shit. I mean,
if there's that many Texans fans there, fucking when we come back home, I might just lose my shit. You might just find me because actually the Texans game, all 3 of us, me, Jackie, and Will are all gonna go to the game and hopefully meet up.
The Houston Texans are the what?
You're going?
Yeah.
I might be getting to that game too.
Oh yeah, if you guys go halftime and try to meet up or before the game or something.
We're thinking about meeting up at the Tillman statue.
If that fucking shitty team though, if that shitty team has a bunch of fans there and it's like,
dude,
there's gonna be some hell to pay.
They're the 5th most popular team in Texas. I mean, they're not going to travel.
I would hope not. But like Pardue said, like when the Vikings came to town earlier, like that's the fucking season that's their home opener right there, and like there were a ton of that threw me back like a lot. And then with the Niners, you kind of expect that, but until the third time would be Houston, and I don't expect a lot of fans to be there, but. If it is, then there's some black market shit going on. We got to settle.
So 2 things on the fandom thing, right? I've always had a theory about Arizona sports, and this doesn't apply to the Suns, by the way. I think the Suns have been Arizona's team for a long time because they've just provided a winning sport consistently at some point, right? And I've always held the belief that if a team is going to have a super dedicated fan base, like the Green Bay Packers, quote-unquote small market team, my ass, they have like one of the biggest fan bases in America. But I think that's because they won the first 2 Super Bowls, right? And then they had Brett Favre in the 90s, and then they've had, Aaron Rodgers. If you have maintained success, you have maintained fan base, right? And the Cardinals have never had like consecutive sustained success. Like you got into the Super Bowl, you had a few good years with Carson Palmer, went to the NFC Championship. Those were
there's
nice
no
years.
good decade in there. There's no like winning
There's no like
decade.
5 to 6 years in a row of like Cardinals were always a contender, right? Even new team like Baltimore was a team from 1999, but they have a dedicated fan base because they've made the playoffs 18 of the last 22 years, right?
Damn.
Like that's why it's 18 of their 22 years as a franchise they've had it. The Browns have a dedicated fan base because back in the day, in the 80s and 90s, the Browns were a powerhouse, right? So of course they have a dedicated fan base, even though for 2 decades they've sucked. I mean, I truly believe.
I don't know about that because the Bears have only been good 5 times in like the last 50 years, and they're one of the biggest fan bases in the NFL.
Hey, family ties hold. Family ties hold. But what I wanted to say was I truly believe Kyler Murray is going to fix that. I think he and we mentioned this when we had you on the show last season. I truly believe Kyler Murray is going to be the spearhead for long-term success where you guys are, maybe not Super Bowl contenders every year, but you're at least playoff contenders. You're going to host a playoff game, once every couple years. If you're not getting in as, a division winner, you're going to be getting in as a 10-7 wild card, right? I truly believe that is exactly what Arizona needs, and it so happens to be colliding with Devin Booker on the Suns. And I think the Valley for the next 3 to 4 years is definitely going to be happy from the months of August to June or July every year. I can't speak for July or August because Diamondbacks and Coyotes.
I was going to say, no Diamondbacks left? Come on, no.
The other thing I wanted to... Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, Kyler Murray is something we've never really had as a franchise, and that is a sexy quarterback. And I'm not just talking about that pregame outfit. Heyo. I mean, he is the first quarterback I can think of in our history where it's like fans look at him and they're like, I want that guy as our quarterback. Because even back in like the Warner and Palmer days, it's like Warner was never, would never be in the discussion of, oh, I want that guy over Brady, or Palmer it would never be like, oh, I want him over Brady or Russell Wilson, or I guess in that year Cam. I mean, right now it's like if you're an average NFL fan, you're gonna want what? You're gonna want Mahomes, Kyler, Josh Allen, or Brady. Those are the big 4 I can think of right now. Or I guess Rodgers in the mix.
Or Lamar.
And this is the first time I can think of that the Cardinals have had that kind of personality at quarterback. And I think that having that kind of leader and that kind of personality at the forefront of an organization is a big change, and that can lead to sustained success and a sustainable fan base.
So the second thing on top of this, because we're talking about fans in the arena, right? So your next 3 home games, Texans we already talked about. There's murder to be had if the Texans over, which I doubt they will, by the way. After that, I think you're gonna have to give everybody some slack because Green Bay comes to town, and frankly, Green Bay travels everywhere. It doesn't matter where it is. Green Bay just travels. So that one, you can be angry all you want about it, but the fact is Green Bay just travels.
They're gonna be there.
But after that, that's the next home game. After that is a game I'm going to, which is the Panthers Cardinals. I can't wait to go to that one. If the Panthers are overriding you, I think there's a problem, a massive problem there. So if the Panthers or Texans override you, that shouldn't happen.
Yeah, somebody actually goes to this Panthers game, and it's like there's not a lot of tradition there. It's like it's a very boring team for the most part. Like Panthers fans hate Cam in hindsight, but he's the most entertaining that team's ever been. I don't get why anybody who wasn't born in the Carolinas or didn't pay attention to that 2015 year would ever get into the Panthers.
How far are you from that stadium, Will?
I'm like 20 minutes away from it.
Wow.
Oh,
so
wow.
I mean,
closer than I am to Glendale.
Hell yeah.
Where are you at, Pardue? How far are you? How far are you to Glendale?
He literally lives right next to me.
Yeah, I'm all the way out far east Mesa. Like I'm like an hour and a half
would call that
away
the west
from the
side.
stadium. Yeah. Yeah, I'm like an hour and a half away from the stadium. It's a drive.
Yeah,
I used to live 10 minutes from it while growing up. So like when I'd go to games with my dad, like we could take the streets.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was cool. I miss Arizona.
Streets, the Avs.
Yeah, I grew up in the avenues. I got street cred.
Swag.
but Yeah, so let's talk about let's talk tight ends. So Max Williams is probably out for the year. Do you guys think we should still go full steam ahead with Darrell Daniels or whoever we have on the practice squad, or should we make a trade? What do you guys think?
I saw Pardue's tweet from yesterday. What was that tweet, Pardue?
So I named off a few. I can't remember quite off the top of my head. I know I named Hunter Henry.
Anyone breathing?
David, yeah, anyone breathing. Okay, that's the tweet you're talking about. Yeah. So for me personally,
I saw your other tweet as well. Yeah. No,
yeah.
for sure.
So for me personally, like you got to add someone, whether it's someone off the street, whether it's via trade. Personally, I prefer a trade. You're 5-0 right now. Max Williams was making major contributions. If you want to get someone that's going to contribute at the level of Max Williams, you need to do it via trade.
Grab my boy Hayden, please.
And that's what I think too. Honestly, I think Hayden Hurst would be the best fit. He would be the biggest and closest match to Max Williams in terms of blocking and the receiving ability. And he's a second string tight end in that offense because Kyle Pitts has emerged in the last game versus the Jets. And now I know it was versus the Jets, but he had the best game of his very young career. So, and the Falcons aren't competing for anything this year. So I feel like Hayden Hurst can definitely be got for, I mean, I know we don't have a 4th rounder, but if you could give up a 3rd or a 5th for Hayden Hurst, I'm jumping all over that if I'm Kime.
The two names I'm levitating towards right now are OJ Howard, who is a backup in a pretty decent receiver room for Tampa Bay. He hasn't seen a lot of playing time because when Gronk's the guy ahead of you and Brady's your quarterback, you're not going to see that
too for some reason.
But I mean, he's there. A guy who tore us up last year, Mike Gesicki. I mean, that Dolphins team is on a downward spiral right now. I'd say if we traded a 3rd or a 4th for Mike Gesicki, I'd say that gets the deal done. I do think that trade should be explored because I'm not entirely convinced on Darrell Daniels or the guy we picked up
Can
today.
I just say the laziest assessment I've seen is trade for Dan Arnold again. I'm sorry, Dan Arnold.
Yeah, Johnny Football. Jackass.
Dan Arnold doesn't block worth shit, and we saw that when Max Williams was out last year. Sure, he catch some passes, but I mean, Max Williams is one of the best blocking tight ends in the league, and that has to be first and foremost, in my opinion, at least.
And I mean, Dan Arnold was also one of Lawrence's biggest targets last week. So I mean, he's
they traded for him for a reason too. You know what I mean? Like they traded CJ fucking Henderson for him, which you're gonna do that. You must like the guy.
Yeah, it's a real tricky situation because like Max Williams' blocking capabilities, it's hard to match what he did. He's never gonna be your average fan's favorite tight end, but he's sure to be an analyst's favorite tight end. He's a damn good player, and we're gonna miss him.
You guys want to move on to predictions, or what do we got going on, Will?
Oh, I have questions. Well, we have questions from Twitter, from our group chat.
We have questions?
And I've actually got a question to add to the mix after that.
Nobody responded to me either. I was a little upset.
We did get one question from Tyler. He asked, are you guys familiar with Squid Games?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
No.
Okay. I'm not quite familiar. I kind of know the premise. But he said, if we can pick 2 people from our favorite team, so us the Cardinals and then Sanders, the Ravens, to do Squid Games with. So it's red light, green light, tug of war, and what was the other one?
Is that what that game is? Or
Tetherball.
That show is?
No,
Tetherball, yes. So who would your 2 Squid Game players be?
10-second summary, by the way.
Yeah.
They play kid games, but if you lose, you die.
Oh, cool.
Great. So what is the question? What if we're picking?
So he said, so you're in the Squid Games, and you can bring 2 Cardinals or Ravens players to be on your team. Who are
Players.
they? The games,
Oh.
yeah. So players. So red light, green light is one game. Tug of war, and then tetherball.
He didn't say he didn't say Ravens. You just added that because of Sanders, right?
No, he said Ravens for me.
Ravens. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna take some options off the table for you guys. For red light, green right. Red, right, green, right. God, I sound like Scooby-Doo.
Red light, green light.
Yeah, Ron Elmore called it first. Thank you.
I was gonna say Rondale Moore, motherfucker.
No.
His
You got Andy
ability to.
Isabella. You got Andy Isabella. Sorry.
Oh man,
No,
God
go
damn
on.
it! You guys are stealing all my ideas. All right,
Tug of
I was
War.
gonna
I
say
got Rodney Hudson. Oh!
I was gonna say Rondale Moore just solely for red light, green light, and then JJ Watt for the other two.
Damn
I
you.
was gonna take JJ.
I'll take Steve Keim.
For red light, green light for sure. He should be thrown off his ass.
For the hopscotch, right? Is that one? No.
Nope.
Three-legged potato sack race? No, is that one?
ABC's backwards.
No, he's taking Steve Keim because remember, if you don't win, you die. So he knows Steve Keim's gonna lose.
Okay. I'm gonna have to watch that show. Is it a pretty good show though?
I binged all of
don't
it with my
have
wife
watched
over
it.
the weekend. It was all right. The ending was but it was a decent show.
It's the
I-
biggest craze right now.
The
I thought-
opening. Sorry, Jackie. What did you say?
I haven't watched it. I'm kind of behind on shows, so I'll watch it in 10 years from now.
Does it kind of like suck you in from the beginning? Because I feel like a lot of people are like, just turn it on. Holy shit!
It was like for me, it was just all right. Like I thought it was a
Yeah.
decent show. But I mean, I sat through all 9 hours of it in one sitting. So I mean, what can I say?
Yeah, it's like eating all the pizza at the place. And like, it wasn't very good.
So, because I'm sure most people don't know this. It's a TV genre that specifically Asia really likes. It's called the death game genre, and there's other shows like it. Like there was a show called Alice in Borderland out last year that came out that I liked much more than Squid Games. But whatever. If I had to pick two players from my team to answer Tyler's question, I'm picking Calais Campbell first of all.
Yes.
Yeah, I gotta destroy those people at tetherball and tug of war. Like Calais Campbell
Gotta rub it
taking
in.
both of those.
Thanks, Sanders. This will be your last time on here.
Oh no! Hey, you know what I found out just this year? I didn't know he's been in the league for 15 years, and his rookie year was your guys' Super Bowl run. I had
dude,
no
he's been around for a
idea.
while.
Yeah, that's
I had
fucking
no
crazy.
idea his rookie year was your Super Bowl. I thought his rookie year was like 2011 or something. No, it
That's
was your
cute.
Super Bowl run. So that's cool. And he just said it in an interview when he talked about, like, they asked, like, do you think you guys can make the Super Bowl this year? And he's like, honestly, this year feels like my rookie year.
Hey, will you please say it in his voice? What are you trying? Come
I
on.
can't talk like him. His voice is so deep.
You know, I don't know.
So
That's
Calais
horrible.
Campbell would be the first one, and I guess for red light, green light, if we need speed, Marquise Brown would be my other pick.
All right,
Hollywood.
I'm gonna drop my question. I'm gonna keep it in the theme of
I didn't
October.
get to answer.
Oh, I am so sorry.
Oh,
Go
Will?
ahead. Go ahead.
I'm gonna go Chandler Jones and DeAndre Hopkins.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
All right.
But
so-
why? Why though? Why? Come on, Jack. Why? You can't just drop names.
Have you seen like DeAndre Hopkins like weird workouts where he's like standing on like a ball
yeah.
with one leg and then like catching shit with his
Doing
arms?
shit, yeah.
So that kind of discipline for red light, green light, and
Okay.
then tug of war, Chandler Jones.
All right, so I'm gonna add my own question in the mix since it's October. If your favorite team was a horror movie villain, who would they be?
Horror movie villain. My favorite team.
Yes.
Oh, bud. Oh, bud.
I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna take the easy out. I'm gonna say that the Arizona Cardinals are like Freddy Krueger because they haunt everybody's dreams, man.
Out of Bing. You thought about that one. That's unfair. That's unfair.
Here,
I saw
I'm-
it in the notes.
I know what I would
thought
give the
maybe Mike
Cardinals for you
Myers.
guys.
What?
It's what Jackie said. Michael Myers. You guys are murdering everyone right now.
Yeah, and then you just seem to like never die.
I'll go. Part of you go, and then, or do you want me to go?
So I'll go real quick, but for me, like I'm not a big horror movie fan, and it's not because like I'm a scared little bitch. It's because I don't think they're well written. I think they're shitty movies.
Well,
So
yeah,
I
that's how
don't
people
really.
feel.
Yeah.
I don't really have a lot of experience, and I can't really name someone. So I'm gonna go to my favorite franchise and go to Star Wars. So I'm gonna relate the Cardinals to Star Wars and Lord Sidious because they're good.
That was so cheesy. Oh my
All
god.
right, all right.
I love
It's
it.
fucking terrible, but I mean, hey.
So to answer the question from my team,
I can
I'm
tell
actually
you have
gonna
an empty glass in front of you, and Andrew. So that boy.
Yeah, no, I'm buzzing pretty good right now. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna say my face is Ghostface from Scream because this season,
Mm.
I have no idea what I'm getting from Baltimore every week because it always seems like we have some sort of weakness that's being exploited, and then we just miraculously win the game at the end of it. So, because you never know what you're getting, you don't know who the killer is. I'm gonna have to go with Ghostface from Scream because that's literally what those movies are about. Is you don't know you don't know who it is, right? That's what the whole point of the movies. You don't know who it is till the very end.
I'm gonna go right here. I'm gonna just remember I'm a couple beers deep right now. I'm gonna go with Chucky because you know you're getting sliced and diced up by a motherfucking midget. Boo! We out, baby! We out,
With
baby!
Kyler Murray, let's
We'll see you
go.
next week, son.
good.
That was literally the best one you could have done for Arizona. Thank you
That was
so
pretty
much.
That's pretty fucking good. That was good. That was good.
Sorry,
I love
Kyler.
it.
I love you. You're my height. So if you're a midget, I'm a midget.
Wow. All right. So, I guess it's time for predictions now. So, open up our slate of games for Week 6 of the NFL. Thursday night, we got
Come
Bucks
on,
Eagles.
Will just does not want to give me credit when I win pick'ems the week before. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
I
shout
don't know
out
what
to
you're
Mac,
talking
whatever.
about.
13-3. Oh shit! What
I
was
have
that?
no idea.
Wait, Mac. I need to hear your picks so I can catch up with Pardew.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
smoking Sanders right now.
The thing you got to do, Sanders, is not pick upsets. My co-hosts love picking upsets. You just let them pick it. No, I'll go this one. I will pick the not whoever the Jets are playing. How about that? Whoever the Jets are playing, we'll go against them. Every week, someone on this show picks the Jets. I don't get it. You won't catch me picking the Jets, but it's fine.
All right, so Thursday
Same.
night, we got Bucks Eagles. Not much to say about that one, is there? I mean,
I'll go
who
Bucks.
do y'all got?
I got the Bucks.
How can
Bucks.
you pick? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going Bucks.
Same.
Sanders wants that upset.
No. Same thing I've been saying for 4 weeks now. Jalen Hurts deserves better than this team. Buccaneers.
Yeah, they were so ready to kick him to the side after last
And he's
season.
playing well despite being on a bad
that
team.
bad last year.
Ugh. Bucks.
Bobby says the Bucks. Sorry, Bobby, we haven't been including you in the conversation.
Eagles
His
fans
horror
would-
pick was really good, by the way.
What he pick?
He picked Pennywise to be it because Pennywise is versatile, just like the Cardinals.
True.
Okay, I like it. Adaptability.
Opening up our 9:30 slate, we got a real stinker on our hands. The 1-4 Miami Dolphins and the 0-5 Jacksonville Jaguars are facing off. Oh my lord, this cannot help them.
We're going Jacksonville getting their first win of the year.
Oh. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Jackie, who you got?
Where's that game played?
London.
Jacksonville.
Oh shit! They always send
The London game?
teams there.
This is the London game, 9:30 a.m.
Dolphins.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's where you guys
London
gain a
is
game on
basically
me.
a home game for Jacksonville. I'm gonna go Jacksonville.
That is true.
Yeah, I'm also going Jacksonville. Honestly, I honestly think they got decent talent. It's just Urban Meyer is a fucking train wreck, to say the least.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely got to go Jacksonville because I think they're just lost right now.
Yeah, they are.
So let me tell you something. I was ready to be super confident to pick Miami, but then I remembered something. The last time I was super confident in picking super confident in picking against Jacksonville and London, my team got squashed 41-6 by them.
Holy
and that was in 2018. That was a nightmare. This was when Jacksonville had the killer defense and went to the AFC Championship that year. But still, it was week 3. I hated it. So I'm not gonna be confident picking against Jacksonville and London, and I'll just say Jacksonville miraculously gets their first win. Reality is
find a way to blow
Brian Flores is a better coach than Urban Meyer. That's the one thing Miami's got going for him.
Amen.
Jackie, you could steal some points there. You're the only one to pick Miami.
Yeah, there we go.
And here you were talking about I never pick upsets. Wow.
I mean, by
That's
the
not
looks of
gonna
this
be my
podcast, it's
upset
not
of
an
the week.
upset. 5 people picked them.
Yeah.
That's okay.
I gotta
right,
keep the show going.
Opening up our 1 o'clock slate of games, we got Vikings Panthers. Who y'all got?
That's a tough one for me to fucking choose.
That is really tough.
Where is that at? Vikings at Panthers?
Yes.
Did the Panthers just lose 2 in a row?
Yes.
Yep. And the you got to remember, Vikings fans travel. So I mean,
Is Dalvin Cook going to be? What's going on with him? Anyone know?
that is a very good question. I will Google it.
Either way, I cannot pick Patrick Peterson, so I'm going Carolina. I'm salty like that.
For me personally, I think because I'm pretty sure the Panthers started out, they had a 3-0 start, now they've lost back-to-back games. I'm not really buying what the Panthers are putting down, to be quite honest. I know their pass rush is really good. Sam Darnold's been all right with the weapons he has, but I don't know. That's not a team I'm really.
Yeah.
If they were a stock, I wouldn't be buying into it. So I think the Vikings have had a lot of bad luck this season. They're a pretty darn good football team, to be quite honest. They got really good talent. I'm gonna go Vikings.
I agree. I'm gonna go Vikings.
So you guys are for.
I didn't pick.
Oh, you got Sanders.
He was ready to talk some shit.
I'm looking at these Panthers wins from those last, from their opening slate of wins. It's like, they're beating teams with, like, looking at the teams they beat. They beat the Jets, they beat the Saints, they beat the Texans. Like, these aren't good teams. Like, and when they face teams that actually have, shreds of talent, they just falter. I mean, that Cowboys game, Cowboys, faltered down the stretch, but I mean, that was a blowout for a lot of that game. I mean, I frankly don't trust this Panthers team. I think it's going to be the Vikings.
Yeah, so I guess I'll be the one team picking the Panthers because I think you guys are completely forgetting how god awful the Vikings have looked in the last 2 weeks. I have come to a point where I do not believe in this Vikings team anymore at all. They're a team with a bunch of talent, and I don't know what they're doing because, as someone who on our show at Head Couch Analysts, I've never trashed on Mike Zimmer, and this might be the first year that I do.
To be honest,
I'm sick of seeing a Vikings team underperform their talent. They played like shit at home against the Browns. They played like shit against the Lions, and quite honestly,
should have lost. They should have lost.
I don't want to say that because that's the same logic for you guys playing the Vikings, right? Like literally, it was just a field goal, right? So I don't want to say that. But, like, honestly, the Lions played better than the Vikings, and the Vikings just so happened to kick a field goal to win it, right? And that matters, right, in the win column. They're 2-3. But with the product they played against the Browns and the Lions in the last 2 weeks, God, excuse my language, fucking awful. I can't do that. Whereas at least the Panthers put up a fight against the Cowboys and the Eagles, right? Admittingly, the Panthers choked an 18-3 lead against the Eagles. That shouldn't have happened. I was upset about it. Lost one of my bets to it. Whatever. Panthers are a better team than the Vikings to me. I can't buy this Vikings team.
Both going Carolina. Can I just say I feel really bad for Dan Campbell? That man, I feel like that. It's just heartbreaking to see him. I know, he gets paid to do a job and everything, but to be the head coach of the Lions, that doesn't seem fun.
Yeah, that press conference where he's just bawling his eyes out about the loss. I mean, good Lord, man, I feel bad for the guy.
And like he's had some bad, and the Lions have had like some terrible luck. They've lost on 66-yard fucking NFL record field goals and shit like that.
Right.
Like the Lions could have bare minimum 2 wins.
Yeah,
Poor
for
bastards.
Sure. I mean, that team ain't going to be good till Martha Ford croaks. But anyway.
Well, you picked Minnesota, right? So just Sanders and I picked Carolina. Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Sanders, you're going to love this next one. We got Chargers Ravens. Who y'all got?
Oh my God. So I mean,
that's gonna be a shootout.
You know what's funny was going at the end of Sunday, I was, because like I said, I tuned into the Chargers-Browns games, flipping back and forth between that and the Browns. Sorry, not the Browns. That and the Cardinals and the 49ers. The Chargers impressed me so much, and the one big strength they had, I think they'll be able to take advantage against Baltimore, which is like the strength of their wide receiver core and Justin Herbert's magic. I don't think the Ravens secondary has played a quarterback who's been playing as well as Herbert this year, and that's not a slight to Mahomes. It's just that Herbert's been playing better this year, 5 weeks in, right?
Oh yeah.
And I'm not on the Mahomes that Herbert's better than Mahomes train. I'm not, like, that's a recency bias take. But if we're talking about the first 5 weeks, Herbert's been playing better. Yeah. So it's at Baltimore, so that helps them. And Baltimore's been pulling out some crazy ass wins out of their ass sometimes. Like if they would have pulled it out at Oakland, they could be 5-0 in a crazy way. they're a weird 4-1, whereas the Chargers I feel are a confident 4-1. As much as I hate to say it, love my team, unless like Lamar just has another outrageous game, which is very possible.
Which is possible against that defense.
I think the Chargers are generally favored here in like a 55-45 odds way, where 55 favors the Chargers. So I'm picking the Chargers for this one.
I think it's going to be the Chargers. I don't think it's going to be close. Chargers.
God damn.
Wow.
I'm sorry, man. I can't lie to you in good conscience.
So for me, I really love what the Chargers are doing, and it's funny enough that Sanders was shitting on the Chargers all like prior to the season.
I was not buying into it. I said I don't buy it. I said 9-8 team. I don't buy it.
So I absolutely love what the Chargers are doing. I believe they're a top 5 team in the NFL, to be quite honest. They're firing all cylinders. Justin Herbert he's proven me wrong. Like when he came out of Oregon. When he came out of Oregon, I was like, nah, dude, this guy's going to be a bust. And holy shit, he is a damn good quarterback. Like, I got to give it to him now because he's lighting it up. With that being said, though, personally, the reason I'm giving the Ravens the edge here is just because I have more faith in the Ravens defense than I do the Chargers defense. And with the way Lamar is playing, like, dear Lord.
Yeah.
Like, even because when Lamar first got drafted, Sanders hated the pick. And in that draft, I know I do.
How did you hate the pick?
You love to rub
the
it in.
30th pick in the first round.
In that draft, I didn't want Rosen. I was happy with Rosen in the time, but Lamar was the guy I wanted. And when the Ravens got Lamar, I was telling Sanders, like, nah, you got your guy. He's going to be a really good quarterback for a really long time. Just watch. And what I love about Lamar is and everybody was saying he needs to be a running back. He needs to switch to receiver. He bet on himself, and now he's one of the best quarterbacks in the National Football League. And he had the game of his life last night.
That was unbelievable. Yeah, that was unbelievable.
So until I really see the Ravens, because you know what? You can say the Ravens are winning fluky games and shit like that, but until I see them lose, I mean, ignore week 1 or whatever the fuck, or whenever they lost. Yeah, week 1. So until I see that, they're finding ways to win. They're finding ways to win. So you know what? I'm going to go Ravens.
So another reason to tune into the Head Coach Analyst is to hear Pardue have bragging rights over Sanders when he bets if Baltimore wins, against best team. So I'll be tuning in for that. All right, Jackie, what you got?
With all that being said, I'm picking the Chargers.
Hey, at least give a reason.
Cool story. Cool story.
Cool story.
Come on,
I'm
Jack.
picking the Chargers.
All right, what we got?
Wait, it's because of pretty boy Herbert. We all know.
Yeah.
He's
dreamy.
Split pants season, baby. All right. Rams, Giants. Who y'all got? Jesus.
Rams. We don't even need to talk about that.
Rams.
Is Daniel Jones out?
Yeah.
Who the fuck's their backup?
I don't even know. Hey, y'all want to laugh at me real quick?
It's Mike Glennon, by the way.
Hey,
Big neck.
Do y'all want to laugh at me real quick?
Yes.
Yeah, go for it.
I lost in fantasy by 8. I started Daniel Jones over Lamar Jackson.
Oh no, bro! Would you do that?
I give him shit every week for starting Daniel Jones over Lamar Jackson. He never listens to me.
What was your fucking logic?
Daniel Jones had a higher amount of points this season. I knew it was going to be close. I don't.
It wasn't even close.
I wasn't thinking.
Christ.
All I needed was 8 points. And all I needed was 8 points to get over the hump, and Daniel Jones got me 4.
Lamar did that in one touchdown pass. Oh no! Oh, that feels bad. That feels really bad.
And it gets even worse from there because I started Chase Edmonds and Marvin Jones, and almost everybody on my bench got 20 points. I fucking hate this shit. I hate this year.
You overthink it.
No, it's like Chase Edmonds made fucking sense. Marvin Jones made sense. I mean, who would have fucking thought that Chase Claypool would score 24 points? Who the fuck would have thought that?
On topic, Rams over Giants.
I do. Yeah.
Lord, I hate this shit. I'm done.
Well, you're picking the Giants, right? You're New York born and bred.
Fuck you. Go Rams.
It's the Rams.
Wow. We all picking the Rams here.
Yeah,
The
Rams.
Bobbles, yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah. Yeah. What
Mike
can you do?
Glennon looks like a Q-tip.
We know Jackie's pick.
It's the Rams. All right, we all picked Rams.
Yep. Let's move on.
All right, Texans Colts. What a disaster. What do y'all got?
Indy. I gotta go Indy.
Indy.
Yeah, you won't catch me picking the Texans this season. I know the Colts are
No.
doo-doo-doo, but nah, I'm going Colts.
I know we want to move forward, so do I, because I got places to be. But I just want to say Carson Wentz played probably his best game in 2 years and still lost, and I feel very bad for him in that sense. But, go Ravens and Lamar, baby. That being said, they should beat the Texans here, right? Carson Wentz has improved. I feel like he'll just continue improving against, the Texans, whatever you want to call them.
Good. Yeah.
Davis Mills shouldn't have gotten that haircut. Go Colts. Chiefs football team. Who y'all got?
Wait, who?
Chiefs versus the Washington football team. Who y'all got?
Get right game for KC. I'll go on Kansas.
I wouldn't know. I don't know if I'd call it a get right game. I don't know if the Chiefs are getting right this year, but I will take the Chiefs over the Washington football team.
Agreed. The Chiefs.
So I'm always like the fun fact person when it comes to like stats and things like this. Both these defenses are the bottom two defenses for most yards allowed. If only, not that I don't like Tyler Heineke, but if only we had another quarterback on the Washington team that could just shoot it out with Mahomes, that'd be great. But obviously I'm picking the Chiefs if both defenses are terrible, and you got to pick the offense to win.
Yeah, this is one of those games where you pick up one of these quarterbacks in the waiver wire just to get through the week.
If Patrick Mahomes is on your waiver wire in your league, I want to be in your league.
Me too, man.
What the hell?
Yeah, I mean, Chiefs, obviously. After that, you got Packers Bears. Who y'all got?
Packers.
You won't catch me picking the Bears at any circumstance unless they're playing like the Jags or some shit like that. But you know who I'm picking.
Green Bay seems like
a
lot of chalk this week.
Green Bay all day, man. I don't trust that Bears team for a second.
So I just know Pardue hates Matt Nagy. That's really why he's not picking the Bears here. But they look much better with Justin Fields on the. They're kind of fun to watch. Okay, Justin Fields is kind of fun to watch. Not the Bears team. The Justin Fields is kind of fun to watch. They don't have David Montgomery though. I think that's an issue. Green Bay.
I think morale was really affected on that Raiders team when during that last game. I don't know if that's more indicative of the Bears' success or just the Raiders just completely falling apart. I think it's I don't trust that Bears team for a second. Packers.
I'll chalk the last 4 matchups, so let's see what we can get this next matchup.
Bengals Lions. Who y'all got?
Lions are due sooner or later, no?
Yeah.
Yeah, but the Bengals are a good team.
Though.
Bengals.
Yeah, I'm going Cincy.
Yeah, I think since he had no business, honestly, losing this fucking game this last week, if it weren't for some dumbass kicking shit, whatever the fuck happened in that game was absolutely ridiculous. Like, I never thought there would be something more embarrassing than the Seattle Cardinal game that ended in a 6-6 tie.
Oh my god!
Holy shit! What the fuck was going on in that game?
I was laughing so hard.
Yeah, no, I thought it was amazing. My wife was at the gym, and I wish she was here just so she could be laughing with me. But with that being said, go Bengals.
Every weekend, I am proven that I'm so blessed to have the kicker I do. Every week.
I'd give a shout out to my brother. He won $20,000 on like a fucking 11-team parlay. And it came down to that. It came down to that Green Bay game, and he needed Green Bay to win by over 3. But if they scored a touchdown, it would have fucked up his over/under. He picked the under, so he needed that Mason Crosby field goal. So he's all fucking texting me. He's like, "You missed again!" He's all freaking out. Like, I couldn't fucking believe it. And like, he's like on the verge of tears when I talked to him after the game. He's like, "Oh my god, a fucking emotional wreck." But yeah, 20 fucking K, dude. They got it in claims right now because of taxes. But yeah, that's fucking crazy.
Ask him if I can borrow $20.
Yes.
Shit.
Yeah, I got it. Let me know.
Tell me about it.
You know what? I'm gonna be bold here. The Lions have
Right.
been on the wrong end of 2 field goals this year, and the Bengals, ever so coincidentally, aside from that Steelers game, all of their games have come down to field goals. Like literally, all of these games, 3
I think it's gonna be a
points.
close game. I do.
I think it's gonna be a Lions win on a field goal. It's a get right week. I think it's Lions.
DeAndre Swift is pretty nice back there.
He kind of
Give
nice.
him that. So we all pick Cincy except for Will. We all agree on that.
Yes, sir.
Cool. Move on up.
All right, 4:00 slate. 4:25. We got Cowboys Pats. The duel of the worst teams in the NFL, but not at a record
Cowboys.
standpoints. Yeah, Cowboys.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I have to pick the Cowboys here. I got to give them some respect for what they're doing right now. Like, they're playing really well-balanced football, and that's going to lead to a lot of wins for them.
I just don't trust Mac Jones or really any rookie quarterback from this class right now being able to.
Yeah, when
get a
Trey
lot of wins
when
this year.
Trey Lance looks like the best rookie from your class, you know it's not a good class.
We'll see.
Hey, give him a few years. That being said, Cowboys.
I'll go Pats just for fun.
Whoa. I mean,
I like
it's at New England, so I mean, anything can happen, but that? Don't know about that. After that, you got a game that will have storylines for all the wrong reasons. You got Broncos Raiders. Who you got?
Broncos.
I'm gonna go Raiders. Fuck it.
Oh.
You know what?
I don't trust the Broncos. I'm sorry. They're a decent team, decent defense, but I still don't trust them.
You know, honestly, I'm not sure if I'm sold on the Broncos yet either, but I think just given the fact with all the stuff that's surrounding the Raiders right now, losing their head coach for, unspeakable reasons, I'm gonna just give the edge to the Broncos just due to outside, influences here.
Yeah, that's definitely
Yeah, I mean,
not something a distraction. Yeah.
I'd be very surprised if the Raiders' morale right now isn't just at an all-time low. I mean, it's pretty rough there, I'd say right now.
Like, imagine how Carl Nassib feels. Like,
yeah,
what the fuck, man?
Tangent here. Seeing all these people, like, I bet you guys have acted like that, when you're talking to your friends. Like, if you call your boss a queer or a FAGGOT, I mean, do you think you're not going to get fired?
Oh, I'm getting fired. If I sent that email to one of my coworkers about my principal, I'm done. Yeah, I'm just done.
Me and Sanders work for the government. We'd be fucked.
I know we don't want to get too political or anything, but investigate Dan Snyder after this, please. Thank you. Washington needs to be saved. They really do.
Unfortunately for you, he doesn't send emails. That's been documented.
I'm sure it's 10 times worse by Dan Snyder, though. As for the Raiders and Broncos, which is like at topic, there's two things that could happen, and I'm only going from a coaching perspective. Like, after my third year of coaching, I've just realized how athletes like to work with each other, and I'm sure in the pros it's the exact same way. Two things is going to happen. Either they're going to be at a low morale, they're not going to be game plan prepared because they're not going to have. Let's face it, Gruden was a good offensive mind, right? They're not going to have that to play against a good defensive-minded coach and a solid, talented defense. They're just not going to have it. Okay, so that doesn't play in their favor. What could play in their favor is the Raiders organization, or more, the players decide as a team they're going to play for themselves, they're going to rally around themselves, and they're going to inspire each other. And they have the talent to do it. One of those two things is going to happen. The optimist in me wants to say the Raiders do it, but honestly, that might take a bit of time. I got to go with the Broncos here.
Yeah, it's got to be the Broncos.
Jackie, who'd you get? Denver?
I picked Broncos.
Okay. Me and Bobby go Vegas.
Wow. All right. So 8:00. We got
any city that legalizes prostitution.
Shut up.
Shut up. But it's not legal there. It's not legal in Henderson County.
I've been told every time I've been there it's legal. Kidding. I haven't been there since.
She said it was legal.
Thank you, Jackie. Thank you.
Oops.
Amen.
Oh shit.
All right.
She said it was legal, so she told me she. Never mind. I don't want to go there.
Yeah, no. All I know is I asked my dad what he wanted to do for his 60th birthday. He said, take me to the
Fuck
Bunny
me, I'm
Ranch.
sorry.
We gotta get back on track before this gets ugly.
What do we got?
Seahawks Steelers,
Will
8
got-
p.m. Who you got?
Steelers who?
Steelers Seahawks.
Seahawks.
Pitt.
Ugh.
Ugly game.
You know what?
I mean,
Honestly, I saw Geno Smith kind of. If it were for Tyler Lockett falling down, I mean, Geno Smith might have led that game-winning drive. You know what? I don't like anything I've seen from the Steelers. I'm going Seahawks.
Ooh, I like.
I
I'm not
gotta
gonna
agree
talk
with your
Purdue out
your
from his
logic there,
favorite
man.
team.
I don't like what this Steeler team does, and I think that it's just not good for them. I mean, they should have never signed that extension with Roethlisberger. They should have prepared for the future. They haven't. They're paying for the consequences of it. It's got to be Seattle.
I agree, Seattle.
Gotta be. Oh. Big Northwestern fan, Northwest Pacific fan. I don't know how you say it. Fuck it.
Pacific
These
Northwest.
beers are doing good job. Sanders.
Yeah, so you guys are gonna realize why Mike Tomlin is still a good coach, and he's gonna punish Geno Smith for being
Get him.
Steelers.
Get him.
Not gonna happen.
Whoa. You know America's QB
for a minute, a hot minute, he was America's
for a whole
QB.
30 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
He
but
was,
you're gonna
everybody was a Geno Smith fan.
you're gonna see why Geno Smith is no longer a starter. Mike Tomlin will take advantage of that 100%.
This is the first game where we've been split 3-3. Okay, I like it.
Wait,
All right.
We're all wait.
Me, Bobby, and you.
I didn't know you were
Pittsburgh.
picking Steelers. Okay.
Yeah, yep, I got it. I ain't going Geno Smith. Come on. Come on, man. Come on, man.
All right.
Yeah.
After that, Monday night, you got actually a pretty stellar bout here. You got Bills Titans. Who you got?
Not even close. Josh Allen is ripping off 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. That secondary sucks. No, that defense sucks. Bills all the way. Best team in the AFC.
I
Sadly,
think Purdue, or I don't know why I said Purdue, but I think Sanders just came, folks. Thanks for enjoying the show with Josh Allen.
Please send tissue.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
You
for
got
me,
Purdue?
like, honestly, like, sorry, Cardinal fans, don't crucify me, but the Bills are the best team in the league right now. I gotta give it to them. I gotta go Bills here. I gotta go Bills here.
All the shit you talk on Bills, fucking on Twitter.
Well, he has to. He's got to rep the fan base.
Bills fans, because those
He's
Bills
gotta
fans
rep.
are fucking idiotic as shit. But
Hey,
with
we'll
that being
rip
said-
it up, and then the truth
Bobby,
comes
the loss
out,
to the
huh?
Steelers was a mistake. It was just a mistake. That didn't happen.
No, I agree, though. I mean, Buffalo, what they're doing right now, they lead the league in total points on offense and the least amount of points on defense. That's pretty absurd. I mean, I have to go Buffalo for sure in this game, easily.
Yeah, I'm gonna
But
go
Derrick
Buffalo,
Henry's a
but I'm
fucking
not gonna say they're the best. Yeah. But
Well,
I won't get crazy.
here I come to win the day. It's gonna be the Titans, baby. I
Oh,
can feel it in
no.
my bones.
Oh, dude.
This is why I
you just-
win every week, folks.
Oh,
You're witnessing
Oh,
it.
no.
Oh,
It's
sweetie.
gonna be the
Oh.
Titans, baby. I
We'll
can
get
feel it.
struck out
Wait,
sobriety.
I hope
Hold on.
you're right.
Out of all the games, this is the one I'll at you on Twitter. What's your ad again?
It's at
Live on
it's
that
at
swing.
AZ Sports Fiend.
I know it's not Matt. Come on now. It's not him.
It's live on that sex swing. That's what it is.
Fuck up.
All right, so what do we got here? What you got, Jackie?
Oh, what was it again?
I don't know. Buffalo?
Buffalo
Tennessee?
Titans. Bills Titans.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the
Derrick
Bills.
Henry will make the Bills his bitch, and it is gonna make the Music City Miracle
They
look
need
like a
it.
joke.
That's literally the only way they
You
can be able
guys
to beat
should bet
them.
on this.
No.
I'll
He's
bet
like,
you
no.
a sex swing.
He said, that was quick. No.
He's not that
Who do you
confident.
I mean, you can do a friendly wager, not like money.
Jackie, who'd you pick?
Bills.
I'd like to remind you guys that this Titans team not only lost to the Jets but struggled against the Jaguars. I ain't buying them beating the Not even close.
You don't have to remind us. Will's the only one who's taking the Titans, so.
Yeah, I mean, don't ever listen to me about anything ever.
You know
That
what?
was me last
After I
year,
heard you
though.
play Daniel Jones this weekend, I might not.
That's like the third week he's played Daniel Jones, though.
Dude, what the fuck are you doing? Are you in last place?
Yes.
Well, I wonder why.
I had a shitty draft. I'm compensating.
So the last
Your
one would
draft-
be Cardinals Browns, right?
Yep, and then we pick the point total, and that's the tiebreaker. So, I'm going Cardinals. You got to. I got to.
Well, hey, I got to do the introduction. I got
Okay,
to
well,
hype
go
it
on.
up first. And finally,
Go home, Mac. You're drunk.
and finally,
I am
to
home.
open up your 4 o'clock slate, your America Game of the Week, your Arizona Cardinals versus the boring, the bland, the factory of sadness, Cleveland Browns. Who you got?
You got the Cards.
The
31-27.
Oh.
21-27?
31-27.
Sorry. I got Cardinals 27-23.
I'm going to let the guests go first because I don't want to take the heat.
Sanders, I'll let you go.
What the fuck, man? So I said I didn't want to make a decision until tomorrow because I'd like more time to think about it. So my pick might change for our show tomorrow. At the moment, though, two things are not playing into the Cardinals' hands. The fact that they're 5-0 and teams got to lose at some point. Hey, if they go 6-0, I'm all for it. I like seeing success in the Valley. At the end of the day, the Browns' greatest strength is the Cardinals' greatest weakness, and it's just a matchup thing. It's not that I actually think the Cardinals in general should lose to the
It's
Browns.
gonna be a good game. It's gonna be a tough game. Yeah.
It's just a matchup thing. So I gotta pick Browns at home.
Cool.
Oh, thank
Cool.
God.
Never on here again. Thank you. Thanks for coming.
I think it's the third time.
Good
riddance.
Can you pick a
So
score
for me-
though?
Oh, I gotta
I'll
make a
be-
score out of it?
Yeah.
Okay,
Tiebreaker. Tiebreaker.
Cardinals are at least gonna light it up. So I'm gonna say, like, you know what? This won't be a shootout. This will be a run out. 35-31.
I like it.
So for me, I'm gonna be unbiased, and because going off of what Sanders said, like the weaknesses that the Cardinals have play into the Browns' strengths so well. So low key, don't crucify me, please. I am gonna go Browns. I honestly do think this would be our first loss, just because I think, given the injuries that we have right now, especially if Rodney Hudson doesn't play, and we'll see how the injury report goes. So, like, my pick could totally change in the middle of the week, but as of what we know of the team right now, I think losing Rodney Hudson is too big of a deal to overcome against a really good Browns team. So I'm gonna go Browns. I'm gonna say 28-25.
Hey Bobby,
Should be
make
close.
sure you edit out our guests the whole episode. Just edit them out.
Oh, with that being said,
They're
my
good.
unbiased
Look,
take
I
is the
got
Cardinals
faith.
smacking that ass 40-18.
My brother, who I trust with like sports betting, and my older brother won that big parlay, but my younger brother is the one who like I work with and do fucking bullshit all day just talking sports. He thinks it's the Cardinals are going to lose their first game as well. So I mean, I think we, by the looks of all of our scores, nobody's picked it by more than 6. So I think we all think it's going to be a tight game either way for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna go off what they say. I mean, their strengths are our weaknesses. I mean, it's just or our weaknesses are their strengths, whatever. I just don't like this matchup. It gives me bad vibes. We're never good on the East Coast. It feels.
Never?
Hey, to be fair, under Cliff, we've been really good at on the East Coast, especially in 10 o'clock games.
I just don't
Like
like.
like Sanders was saying though, it's hard to overcome that stigma. You know?
Yeah,
Will's
I don't like
stuck
what
in
I just don't like what I'm like looking at from a matchup standpoint. There is a very real chance we win this game, but like just looking at the adversity we're gonna have to go through and just the strength of that running back tandem for the Browns, I don't see it. 38-28 Browns.
I'm channeling my inner Mac Fiend right now. Your co-host is sorry, your host is no longer allowed on the show.
Me
Tell us
and
about
Jackie, we're running. Tell us about
And believe me,
it.
I want to go full homer mode, but it's just like I'm
Oh.
looking at this injury report and I'm looking at what we've lost so far. I mean, it's just I don't
It can
know.
go either way. It really could. Like,
It can go either
Well,
way.
I can't
will
wait.
be
There's
kinda
no
think
shame.
it's
There's no
shootout.
shame in going on the road and losing to the Browns.
Oh.
The Browns are one of the better teams
Oh,
in the
fuck
AFC,
no.
and starting at 5-1, shit, I'll take that. And we got Texans the week after, or 4-1, or no, 5-1. I'm a
Yeah.
dumbass. Wait,
I'm gonna
yeah, 5-1. Anyway, there's no
can't-
shame in losing
yeah.
to the Browns.
I'm
I
gonna
can't
I'm gonna
wait.
drop my prediction for the Browns game for the Texans game a week early. This game is gonna look like that Chicago Bears game from like the 1940s where it's like the NFL championship and they drop like 72 points. It's gonna look like that. They're gonna go scorched earth on the Texans. 72-0 that week.
I can't wait to be on Joanna's Cardinals Take Exposed when I tweet out that this is how I feel about the Browns Cardinals game.
Make sure
She's
you
gonna rip you a
add,
new ass.
Oh,
make
yeah,
sure
she's
you
smoke grass.
add
She's mean.
Pardue in there too.
Yeah.
I need it.
Wait,
Whoa, I don't want to get back on Joanna's bad side. She's mean.
hey, you can't do that. You can't do that to the face of Cardinals Twitter. Come on, man.
We gotta get her on the show.
I'm just saying. Yeah, we got to get Joanne on the show. Yeah, if you're listening, I know you're not, but hey, what's up?
No,
Yeah, man.
Joanna be
hell
straight
yeah.
up coming for people's fucking throats, man. She's cutthroat.
She brutal.
She knows her shit though. You know.
No, for real.
Yeah,
for real.
she could talk the shit and back it up.
I had a
Yeah, for
conversation with her. She actually watches like a lot more Cardinals games. Like she said, she watches like every game she can. I'm like, those are the football people I like. Like you're a fan of your team, right? Like obviously I love the Baltimore Ravens, but at the end of the day, I love football. So I just love watching good football, and I will always cheer on a good team doing well because I like watching good play.
What
It
you're
used
trying
to
to
be
say.
me, then I got pregnant.
What you're trying to say, Sanders, is she punked your ass in a fucking conversation, right? Is that what
No,
you're trying to
we
say?
actually had a really good conversation.
Sanders, it's okay.
I'm sorry, Joanne.
It's okay to admit it. She's punked all of us on multiple occasions.
Yeah.
And she stole your lunch money.
Except
No,
me, because I
and
never
dunked
tweet.
your head in the toilet.
When I talked about Joanna like doing a being a really good follow, she actually DM'd me she followed me first and then DM'd me and said, "Hey, I really appreciate you being so kind. Cheers and go Cardinals." And I was like, "All right."
sorry for chewing your ass out, you punk bitch. I apologize.
And then she asked you for some lunch money.
I think the only time I ever had a bad experience with her was the very first time ever, and it was just when I was defending Pardue when she used to have the Larry Fitzgerald Jesus profile picture.
Oh yeah.
And like she was like hounding Pardue, and I don't think Pardue was wrong. I was trying to defend Pardue, and then she called me like Pardue's fuckboy, and I was like, "Oh man."
That's my girl. Oh, get him. I know Jackie invited him on, Joanna. I apologize. You didn't want them on tonight.
Bro,
but,
you invited me out for beers to his son's game. What are you talking about?
You bought them. No, he didn't. I bought my own. It was a Dutch date. It was fine. We had
It was a good time. It was a good time, is what it was.
I never called him back, but we had a good time.
Did he walk you to the door?
Yeah,
Hey, y'all kiss on the first date too?
100%.
Real gentlemen don't kiss and tell, Sanders. Fuck you. Well, fuck. We appreciate you guys coming on with us, having some fun. I know it ran a little longer than what I told you guys, but hope you guys had a good time. And
Oh yeah, bro.
yeah, you guys are good follows.
Sorry, my notes weren't quite up to par this week. I don't know. I was just scattered this week.
I had to
we're
tell
vibing.
Sanders
All
like
good.
this is Will's raw reaction while he's watching the game.
Yeah, I was looking at the
is?
notes for it and whatnot.
Your
Oh, yeah,
notes.
yeah.
I'm
There is
glad
like
you do the
nine-
notes, 'cause
nine
I can't read my
pages
own
long.
notes.
Oh fuck! I'm stupid. I can't believe I forgot this. Okay, so Myles Garrett. Did you guys see the tweet that was sent to 98.7's hosts from the UPS guy?
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Oh,
He's got a graveyard in his
yeah.
house.
Hey, back
of
up.
quarterbacks.
So what do you guys think of that? Is that corny? Is that what do you guys think? I think it's corny.
Honestly, for me, I think it's honestly kind of funny. Get Kyler's ass out of there, you little fucking punk bitch. But other than that, no, I think it's honestly kind of funny. I mean, if I were Myles Garrett, I'd probably do that shit. That's funny.
Yeah, I mean,
One of the
if it
homies
was-
in our group chat pointed out that Kyler's tombstone is a lot smaller than the other quarterbacks.
Everything about Kyler is a lot smaller than the other quarterbacks. That's always the meme. Come on.
Is that
I
dick?
mean, that's something that, like,
Stop. Please stop.
Damn it, you beat me to
except
it.
for his,
I know
except for
personally.
his dick.
Oh, wait a second.
Just right next to you in the urinals. Just
No, but I mean, you call it corny or whatever, but if that was like Chandler Jones, we'd all think that was pretty dope.
Oh,
yeah.
You know,
Yeah, that would be funny. So
kind of unique. Yeah, it's different. Like, good for him. Myles Garrett's 25 years old. He's having a good time. He's enjoying life in the NFL. Like, good for him.
should have had Mason Rudolph in that graveyard too.
Now that's a quality meme right there.
With the Steelers helmet placed on top of it, specifically
Yes,
upside down.
exactly.
little do we know he's really buried in the backyard.
Man, I kind of wish he had just embraced it and just gone full villain. That would have been great. But I guess this is kind of it. Whatever. Other than that, you guys have anything else to add? You guys want to talk about anything else?
Thank you so much for having us on.
Yeah,
Hey,
for
no
sure.
problem, man.
This is a ton
This
of
is
fun.
super fun. This is super fun.
Oh yeah. You guys are good follows. I know Pardue's got a little cult following over there, so
It's honestly
You know.
really strange. It's even spiked up a lot more over the last couple months. And like I just recently got over 1,000. Now I'm at like closing in on 1,200. It's insane. No, so I really appreciate all the love, guys. I really
yeah.
appreciate it. It's awesome.
Yeah, I'm still stuck at 500 because I don't fucking talk about the Cardinals when they play. But yeah, man.
yeah, thank you guys for coming on. You guys fucking crushed it, and appreciate
we
you guys having us
appreciate
on.
you.
You guys kick ass, and I am so glad I was not alone this week in predictions.
I got you, bro.
But anyway, I think that about wraps things up. This has been the Redbird Redzone podcast. My name is Will. You can find me on Twitter at LiveOnThatSwing.
My name is Mac. You can find me on Twitter at AZ Sports Theme. That's FIEN.
I'm Jackie. You can find me on Twitter at JSanDiego. That is 2 O's.
And it's Andrew. You can follow me on Twitter at HC_Pardue.
Sanders, I tweet about the Cardinals a lot, despite being a Ravens fan. So, you'll still see me supporting K1 because I'm a K1 fanboy at HC_Sanders.
And we are a week away from meeting up for the Texans game. I'm fucking pumped. Love you guys. This was fun. This has been the Redbird Redzone podcast, a Max Hall production. Rights prohibited unless you pay me $5. Fuck you. Peace out. We're gone.